Hey everybody, it's Frankie Abbruzzino, and I am live, the scoop, the Uncensored Report, whatever you want to call it. I decided to go live today. Let me go ahead and share this. Give anyone that's interested. I just did the sigh. Let me share this out there so that everybody has a chance to come in if they want to, or who knows, most won't. Now, it is live. It does go international, and I get the privilege of saying that it's international because my sisters in Italy watch it. It gives me that international. Also, we have some people that come here that live here. What's that one girl, Key, or whatever? She's on here all the time. The lady that lives in Germany. I don't think it's Casey Key. I forget her name. But, all right, let me just share this real quick, and then we'll get rolling. Now, I'm trying to do this more often. The problem is my tight schedule. I do have somebody that I'm training with my medical end that will free up a lot more of my time so that I have more time to go out and do stuff like this. And I'm looking at doing this new thing where it's going to be part of the Uncensored Report, but it's going to be like more live broadcastings, and I'm going to try to change things up a little bit. What I am trying to do is get people to go directly to the website because I'm not a fan of Facebook, and I haven't been for years. A lot of people are always surprised when they hear that I'm really actually never on Facebook. I'm on there to post this stuff, but that's the extent of it. I can't stand going on Facebook. I can't stand a lot of the drama that's on Facebook. I don't like the way they've been gathering data. You've probably been reading, and it's funny because this Cambridge, they said they grabbed, 50 million users, which in the grand scheme of things isn't a lot. And I say that because if you just looking at my schematics, my engagement rate is, 2-3 million a month, maybe more. And that's just on this one scoop page. And so in the grand scheme of it, things, they're going out to billions of people. Now, the problem is, we got to attempt to identify, SPD, attempted robbery. And the fountain in the city of Venice has been shut down till further notice due to the windy conditions. It is pretty windy out there. But, it's funny that with this whole Cambridge Analytica, Obama did this, Trump did it, everybody does it. They go in, they mine our data, they take all that data, and they share it. It's not strictly a Facebook thing. It's a Twitter thing. They all do this, where they sell that data to these third parties. I think with Facebook, it was primarily taking those stupid quizzes. People go in, they input their information. Facebook is acting like they're surprised about it, but they've been involved in it. They know about it. It's not a surprise. It was funny to listen to the politicians. They're ridiculous, and some of the MSMs out there, where as soon as they heard about Trump doing, Trump's doing it, he's taking everyone's data, and then they found out, shit, Obama did it too. But it does crack me up. Okay, we are live, and there you go. If you have any questions, you can ask away. I don't see any questions on there, so I'll try to pay attention to it and get to you guys to the right screen. There we go. All right, so this is going back to 24 hours. I tried to go back where I left off yesterday. Yesterday's wasn't live because, I don't know why the hell I didn't do it live. It just wasn't. We have this, the MPPD. I remember this story, and I digged it up, and I put a link to it. Somebody sent me this video. Now, in their story, they say that the officer was pushed by the guy, and he wasn't pushed in this video. I'm not going to play the raw video for you guys. You can go check it out. And so I just noticed some of the differences. So right here, I did distribute the entire MPPD story to everybody so that it could be read. But if you go in there, it's a little bit different in terms of, let me get to that screen. Some of the stuff that I pointed out where it said that Paulin shoved the officer. He didn't shove him. Now, did he look like he was cooperating? I don't know. He was walking around the truck. He was maybe getting these guys nervous. I noticed the cop was backing up. So was this guy the model person to arrest? No. But the issue I have is the less than honest write-up, because that, again, came straight from the MPPD. And they said that Paulin shoved the officer and then was taken down. What I saw is Paulin turned around and the officer pushed him. Now, should he have turned around? Should he have been following orders to avoid any situation like this? Yes. Did he? No. Then they talked about the attack and being down in Taser, but a lot of it's behind the trailer, and you couldn't really see too much. And that raw video, to me, it was a little grainy. I don't know about you guys, but to me, it was a freaking little grainy. So we did put that out there, and I with doing the show, I'll go through and I'll see some of these accounts, and it looks like most people expect this from the MPPD. I'm not sure why they have such a tarnished image out there, but it doesn't look like a lot of people have confidence in the MPPD, and they got to do something. I don't know if maybe the new chief, if they find one, they said screw those 4 people, so they got to do something to try to get their image back up there. I don't know what they have to do, but something. Let's see. What was that? Northport investigating a sexual battery case near Atwater. Josh is a great guy. He used to work with WWSB as their media guy, but he puts out a little bit of information like this. They're investigating a sexual battery, and there's no threat to the community. Nobody was really thinking about it, but now that they put it out there, you're wondering, what's the threat? What's going on? When you get a chance, explain to me the order use Amazon so you get credit. Yeah, and I've taken most of those off. I think I still have I think there's only one place you can get it. I took them down yesterday. But basically, if you click on it, it's just like going through Amazon. The only difference is it's more like marketing. What they do with affiliates is they'll pay affiliates a percentage in terms of like marketing and getting traffic to Amazon. I think I had it up there, and I had something like 800 visits when I put it up there, and I made a grand total of $8. So it's and in the grand scheme of things, sometimes I look at that stuff and I'm like, look, making $8, you're annoying people with the advertising. Do you really want to do it? Nah, because it's not worth it. You're not really making enough money. And now, some of those other advertisements where they did the clickbaits, I made some money, but then people were, oh, you're clickbaiting me, you got those clickbaits everywhere. And you would think people are smart enough to know not to click the clickbait. But like I said, with the new setup I'm going to change it around. The Amazon, you can still find my links out there. Every once in a while I'll share it. I shared mine with those shirts because I thought it was pretty cool. People always ask me about Venice shirts, Sarasota, Northport, and some of those shirts are actually pretty neat. If you guys want, I'll share the link again, and it takes you directly there if you're big on Amazon. And every once in a while I'll put it up there. You could actually probably find it if you do Venice Tea or Sarasota Tea, Scoop, Amazon, into Google. You'll probably come across it. There, I hope that answers your question, Paul. But back to MPPD, what they do is when they put this stuff out, a lot of people probably drove by there, probably saw the cops, probably could care less. Some nosy people probably thought, what the fuck's going on there? Others just drove by. And when they put this out, they get that curiosity going, and people want to know about it. And then they only put out a little bit of information, and it's like, that's it? That's all you got for me? And that's all we have. Okay. Brody, I was interested in this story, and a lot of you guys may not be aware of it, but with Barwin, it's a lot of his decisions, and I think this came out of that iRide issue. Basically, they're coming in saying our business plan isn't working, and we need another $75K, and they've already gotten over $300K. And the whole iRide concept is you basically ride it for free. There's I think like 7 of them, and it's to help alleviate traffic around the city of Sarasota. They were originally hoping to get tips. They found out that nobody wants to tip them. And then they were hoping for advertising. But I could have told them this. It's sort of like when Venice wanted to put advertising on their trolley. And I know through advertising, you're not going to make that freaking much money. And so now the city's upset with iRide. They're upset with Barwin because of stuff like this. And Barwin's their city manager. So the drama continues. And Brody, I take it he's not a huge fan of him. Let's see. Put up a couple of sex offenders. This guy, it was weird, this guy, because he lives off in the bush at Sun Hydraulics. And I think because I was looking at some of these comments before I came on, kids like playing in the woods. Well, that's not good. It might have been in the group where somebody came on and said that they put them in the woods when they don't have a place to live, which I was not aware of. And I don't know how accurate that is. This guy is an offender, and it seemed like this guy had more comments than the Predator. Yeah, there was nothing on the Predator. Engagement 1,700. How much engagement on this? 3,100. So there's more engagement around the sex offender that's in the woods than a predator. And I put predator in capital because predator means it's worse. This guy, James Hero. And, but, you know, the traffic was half the amount of the offender. And this guy molested a victim under 12 years old, lewd and lascivious, and it looked like he did it 2 times. You see a charge here in 2001, and then another charge a year and a half later in 2002. So he's someone you've got to be worried about. He has a problem. I'd say. And it is funny, not funny, but amazing. One of the reasons I can still carry anymore is I get these guys pissed at me. I get their friends pissed at me saying they served their time. Why the hell do you got to put their picture up there? Well, it's public information. People want to know. And a lot of them will say, oh, you know what? They served their time. They did it once. They changed their ways. Obviously, they don't fucking change their ways because this guy is a prime example. But they hate it. I remember one family, I put it up because the guy was at a motel. God, what is it? One of those motels out on 75 down by Jacaranda. And they said I ruined their Thanksgiving because I told people their son was there. I'm like, well, did I ruin your Thanksgiving or did your son with his actions? Actually, I think more than one of their family members came after me on that. I was like, oh my God, they're coming out of the freaking woodworks. Northport Police, 85 and a 40. I tell you what, you have to be an idiot to speed down Woodhaven. This is like the 3rd notice. FYI, police are on, Northport Police are out there on Woodhaven. What are these tickets? These tickets are like $220 or something like that. 85 and a 40. I think I saw it somewhere here. $281. So they put out ample warnings, and yet people still speed down that street. My mom lives in Northport. My mother-in-law lives there. My sister. I got a niece who lives there. But I have no idea where Woodhaven is. Okay, what else we got? That was okay. All right, Sheriff tonight going out there and telling you celebrate spring break safely. Oh, okay. I mean, does that mean I can't go out and drink? I can't get so drunk I fall over in the street or get a DUI? But now since I've read this, I won't because I'm celebrating safely. And I'm locking up my valuables, right? Because I didn't know that until Sheriff Knight put out the notice. Obviously. If you want to ask any questions, feel free to. Let me refresh this. Sometimes it's not on there. I'll try to address any of them. Oh, there is another one. Let's see. Paul, sex offender, live in Bush. Okay. Paul cracking a good one there. See, his question didn't come back up on there. The beaches, I might go down and do a live shot. I wanted to go down and surf, but I do paddleboard surfing anymore. I used to surf shortboard in the 80s here in Venice. Then I went to longboard. Now I do paddleboard. And when it's real windy, it's a pain in the ass out there because you're fighting that wind. Sometimes I'll be like this and I'm going nowhere, especially when you're in double overhead waves, which isn't really here. That's more of the East Coast when I go to Daytona or something. Let's see. What do we got here? I thought this was interesting. You guys may not have. And I was actually talking about this at a clinic that I was on the phone with today. They said the average salary, I think the county and the city go by, and the cities locally go by 72,000 as the average or the affordable index in terms of being able to survive and live in Sarasota County, 72,000, which I think is ridiculously high. This one came out, this Economic Policy Institute, and said, no, it's 80,000. But you look at their numbers, and keep in mind, 80,000 is like over $6,700 a month. Yeah. I don't know too many people that make that much. And a lot of people are struggling. And I get families constantly, single mothers a lot, call me saying, yeah, or contact me, I got 2 kids, I need a place to live, I can only afford $800 a month. To me, affordable housing is $800, $900 a month, something like that. These freaking people are trying to tell me that housing is, on average, $1,117 a month. Anyone go out there and show me where a family of 4, you're going to be hard pressed finding a house for over $1,100. I got to tell you that. Very high. Yes, Carrie, very high. 1,100. I just can't see it. I mean, people struggle. In my mind, for a family of 4, You're lucky if you find rent at 1,500, and that's in the maybe 1,300 in Venice, in Northport, Inglewood, South Venice area. Definitely not in Sarasota. Healthcare, I don't. Healthcare is probably right, maybe a little high. Transportation with all the gas, I'm not sure if that's high. Childcare, other necessities, taxes. It looks at everything. Now, food I think is low. But what do I know? So I thought that was interesting. What's this? Sarasota police attempt to verify. We could pull that up real quick, I think. Let's see what they're looking at. Let's see. Attempt to verify. Let's see. There we go, right there. Oh, I think this is that cell phone guy. Let's see what it says. I think this is that guy I shared yesterday and the day before where he stole... it doesn't look like him, does it? Stole a phone. It's the guy in the hood, I think. I don't know if you guys can see it there. So they're trying to find... I'll share this video when I get done here so that you can blow it up. But, I'm looking at it large on the full screen. I got this huge-ass screen. And look how casual the guy is taking the money out. So yeah, okay, I'll take my time with this. I couldn't tell who the guy is in the hood. Maybe you guys will be. All right, so what else we got here? This Northport trafficker arrested. This is actually the guy that lives in Nokomis. That I guess he was at a hotel in Northport selling his drugs at the Budget Inn. There's a couple hotels. There's another hotel in Inglewood I'm always hearing about with the meth heads. And this guy was down there selling the drugs. Who the hell gets arrested 18 times? Sorry, more news with Sarasota sheriffs. 18 times and is still out on the street. 26. The guy's 26. Did that guy look older than 26 or was it me? Thanks for posting the night removal from the Holy Cross College and attached cruise. You're probably one of the only ones that read that, Jeffrey. Not too many people go on my national page. He's referring to an article I've shared yesterday. I think it was yesterday on the national page. You just Google the uncensoredreport.com. Drugs are out of control, though, in the city, and it's a travesty. I did put on my national page today where Jeff Sessions signed off on a letter to start seeking the death penalty with drug dealers. And so Jeff probably saw that. Jeffrey, if he's on there. I posted it about 2 hours ago, so you probably just got to scroll down a little bit on the Uncensored Report and you'll see it. Let's see, what else we got here? Teen court. This is an interesting concept. What they're trying to do is some idiot teen goes out, he does something stupid, he breaks the law, some type of infringement. I don't think it's a high-end one, maybe a low-level, no felony, I don't think. His peers judge him and decide what his penalty should be. They're hoping that it will give them a option to see the light and change their way without getting a record by going through the normal processes in the court system, which is good. What's this? I hope this is in bunk. Oh, this one. You know what? This guy's here. We'll click on it. I think somebody else said, "Oh, this is hearsay." I got to tell you, the person that wrote me, her grandmother went in and talked directly to the owner of Dick's and somebody else that said they're tearing it down. She said they're building a high-rise. I contacted someone in the know. I'm not going to say who it is because I didn't ask her to go on record. I could tell you that this person knows. And what I typed in there is that she did tell me that there is an application to demolish and replace Dick's Shoes and Fifi's in Venice on the island. She's not sure where they're at in the process. She's not sure if it is going to be a high-rise as this individual said. So the hearsay part is, what will it be? How are they going to refurbish it? Will it be a high-rise? How many stories will it be? It's not hearsay that it's being demolished. That's been, I'm confident with this source that it's not hearsay. So, I know some yahoos are always on there saying, "Oh, fake news." And I saw somebody put something down. I don't know if it was on that page or somewhere else. So, changing the image of Venice. Yeah, you guys should have heard the last council meeting. Was it the last one? I don't know if it was the last council one or the one before that, where they were talking about the great lengths. Maybe it was the county commission meeting, joint meeting, and they were talking about how they want to redo Seaboard and turn it into essentially this Riverwalk. And there's an article in the newspaper in the Herald about 4 years ago where Halleck was talking about how he envisioned turning it into Venice's idea of a Riverwalk similar to Barrington at a smaller scale. Restaurants, hotels, condos, and all that stuff along the Seaboard part. They said, well, what do you want to do with the businesses in the article? And they essentially talked about moving them somewhere on 75, by 75, which is where they're moving this one location. They're because at the county meeting, they talked to them about moving the waste facility on Seaboard over to a county property by 75. And this is that move towards doing it all. Actually, the first move was changing the ordinance so that they could build houses and all that good, fine stuff there. So, England, voyeurism, idiot, looking. I don't know. That guy's schmuck. Okay. Let's see. Facial recognition. Sometimes I'll share these things because this is in Florida, and basically the court's going in to see if the police should be able to use facial recognition. Is it legal? I'm not a fan of it, and I could probably spend an hour talking about it. I don't want to bore you guys with it, so it's something you should read if you're concerned about privacy rights and all that good stuff. But our privacy is essentially gone down the drain. I can sit here and talk, and I guarantee you if I start talking about stuff, saying I want a new pair of tennis shoes or something like that, I'm going to see those advertisements on my Facebook, on all the programs I go on here. It's going to pop up because it's iPhone's listening constantly. Somebody went... It was an MSM show. They took two phones. They took one with airplane mode off, and the other one thing with everything shut down, but airplane mode was not on. I think I got it right. Both, they found that they were both tracking everywhere they went, and that the data and GPS was active in the phone, even though the person thought they had it all down. And they're essentially listening to you. It's just like Samsung, where the intelligent TVs, where they have right in their manual that they can come in and listen to you. And there was actually a basketball game. Was it a basketball? A basketball game a couple months ago, and they were able to dial into the TV of a family in Europe. Their son was playing, and I don't remember his name. And they got the reaction of the family, and they were in shock that somebody was able to dial into it. Or even your computer. There's a... If you want, I could share it later. It's comical if I can find it. Where somebody dialed into the lady's computer, into the webcam, and they were in there looking at them and typing out on their computer that they were watching them. Why'd you call the police? Because the police were standing behind them. And a lot of people aren't aware of the fact that this can be done, this technology, and it's happening more and more and more. And I unfortunately, I think we've gotten to the point where we accept all these invasions as part of the deal. Part of what deal? I don't know a freaking deal, but it's part of the deal. I didn't make a deal with anyone. All right, let me see. Some coast counties vote to invest in schools. That's that $1 million. You know what? I usually almost always go down to vote. Didn't make it yesterday. The rainstorm. I was going to go after work. Did not make it. Did not have the time. But I knew it was going to pass. Basically, can't stand how the county schools manage money. I think they're out of control. But taking it away, I did a comparison yesterday, it would be like taking away Obamacare from someone that's finally got medical care. You can't take this away, especially with the new monies needed for hardening the schools, which is another issue. I haven't heard here in the counties, but all over Florida, they're complaining. I heard a story today, I think it was Hillsborough, where the guy said he needs to hire 150 officers to harden the schools to be in line with Scott's new law. That Florida's not going to give them enough money. They need something like $20 million in the first year just to get it started, and then 12 to 13 million a year after that for salaries and everything. And they're wondering where the money's going to come because the plan isn't in place. And so what are you going to do? So we'll see what happens there. All right, deadly sinus infection. I put that up because I have fucking horrible sinuses. I can't stand them. I can't even sleep at night, man. The sinuses are just everywhere. So I put that story up because everybody's dealing with the sinuses, and I just thought it was interesting. I don't know. I don't even know if you guys listened to. I actually listened to the whole thing, and I'm not sure the specific name of it. It just was an interesting thing to listen to. Ransomware virus, I always find those of interest, so I put that out there just so to raise the awareness on it. How to protect your Facebook data with this latest data mining. Basically, close down your freaking account. And guess what? That won't even do it. That won't even do it, because once you've gone in and given all that data, guess what? They have it. And Facebook is even known for taking your data and following and tracking you, even if you're not part of Facebook, but you went there and you did some stuff, maybe you started the sign-up process. So all that data, even when you delete it, it's not gone. It's kept in their system. So we're all screwed. And it's not just Facebook. It's Twitter. It's all these companies. All you can do is really restrict a lot of the information that you're putting out there. And there are ways to restrict the data you're putting out there. Oh, and I wanted to get to, I own a medical billing company, and I got a story to share with you guys. You guys might find this interesting. Let me go to this screen here. I have a lady, she wrote me, and she wants me to put out an article involving the Venice Hospital. And I said, well, and I go, and it's about medical billing. And I said, well, I've owned a medical billing company for 20 years. Why don't you send me the bill that they sent you, and I'll look at it and see if you got something there. Basically, I'm not going to give names or anything like that, but her husband went in, he was sick, and they did all the treatment, and he came home, and voila, they got a $25,000 bill. And they got him to reduce it. They said, we don't have any insurance, so they reduced it to $10,000, which she still is like, we just don't have the money. So I looked at her bill. The bulk of the price charged, the fees were about $15,000. They're on 2 MRI codes. The MRIs were, if you look, basically what happens in the medical world here in Florida, you go at 200% of Medicare. So if Medicare says the fee is $100 on a CPT, you put $200 into the system. And you do that because PIP, car auto insurance, pays at 200%. And they're usually the max ones that will pay on insurance. So you do 200%. So I went in, I looked up her codes, and trust me when I say Medicare, Medicaid, and commercial pays far less. If you bill $100 on a procedure, you're lucky if you get $30 or $20 for it. Okay, so you'll see that. You'll see the fee, the allowable, and the breakdown on it. And so I went in, I looked up her fees, and I told her what they were. And basically, for I think around $15,000 for 2 MRIs, the normal rate at 200% would have been around $500. At 100% of Medicare, and not even at 100%, because commercial would have paid 50% of Medicare. So let's assume it's $300 at 200%, $150 at 100%. $100 is all they would have gotten. The hospital's billing her $15,000. She says she's been writing everybody and gotten nowhere, and I'm like, well, that's because you're going through the billing company, and billing companies are like me. We get a percentage of whatever we bill, and you're not too inclined to reduce, because that's money that you're giving away. And so then, I made some suggestions for her, and I said I'd do a story, but I wanted her to try to contact Venice Hospital, the CEO there, and say, look, this is ridiculous. Frank helped me out. These are the CPTs. I probably should be paying, I don't know, something like $1,000 versus $10,000. And the bottom line is, and this happened to me when I cut my foot, when you go into these doctors, you got to be careful. Now, it's a little difficult. You go to the hospital, emergency room, you're in pain. The last thing you're going to do is sit there and say, yeah, I'll stitch up my foot. It's bleeding everywhere profusely. The guts, my skin and muscles and ligaments are hanging out. But how much is that going to cost? Oh, no, I can't cover that. You got to do something that's within the cost. It just doesn't happen that way, folks. And so they go through these procedures. And when people get the bill, they're in shock because they see that this is something they do a lot. We'll take NCV. Because I do a lot of NCVs. You'll come in, you'll have the 2 codes, the professional and the technical. And the professional might be an MD that's in network, and the technical may be an MD that's out of network. So the in-network guy, if he bills 100, you might pay 20. If the out-of-network person bills 100, you might owe 100 because you don't have those out-in-network benefits. And they get all these individuals like that. The other thing is when you go in, it's funny because we'll sit there. It's not funny, but I had a guy, and this was years ago. He would buy TENS units. You put them on your back. TENS, they send those electric pulses. We would go out and buy them for $25. You'd sell them based upon a CPT that he was using, which I don't think was the right one, but he wanted that one, for a TENS unit at the Medicare rate, which was something like $1,140. And he used to sell them like crazy. And what they do a lot of times is they'll come in, you got a 10,000 pip, they'll hand you a brace or this or that, and people just thinking, well, the doctor's giving me this is awesome. What they don't realize is that doctor bought it maybe for $10, he's giving it to you, but he's billing your insurance $500 for it. So you got to be careful of that. You guys got to look at all this stuff, and, hopefully I helped that line. The other thing, one of my buddies got stuck to him really bad, because we do this too, and it's not a good thing, but we do it. You'll go out and basically, like chiropractors, patients are horrible at paying their bills once they walk out the door. You're lucky if you get 5% of them to pay. So they send them to collections, and that's a whole fucking thing. They take their bit, and you got to deal with all this stuff. So what the new thing is not the new thing, but what people are doing is they'll say, okay, this patient owes me $100. They'll sell it to this law firm, which is a collection company. They generally have lawyers there, law firms too. They'll sell it at 20% or 25% on the dollar. So they're making, let's say on $100, you sell at 20%, they're making $20. And to them, that's a good thing. It's more than they would have gotten. What they do then is these companies take that, and they sometimes will do it within a month or two of moving it over to the patient. They're taking it, immediately drawing up a lawsuit, and they're sending it to you and saying, look, we are filing a lawsuit. Either you pay this or we're going to sue your ass off. It happened to one of my buddies here with Minutes Hospital. They did like 5,000 of these when the new company took over a year or two ago. And he's like, I already paid this bill. But to fight the lawsuit, it would have cost him more than what the bill was, so he just paid it again. But it's amazing how many people get screwed over with medical. And so I hope that lady the best of luck, and I hope I helped her out enough so that she can go in and try to get a reduction on it. But the point of this is pay attention to your medical bills, guys. Let's see, some cadets going to West Point. There's a certain state senator / county commissioner now that used her influence with our Congressman Buchanan to get her grandkid to one of these academies. Yes, not good. So because of influence, her grandkid gets to go. But the guy that probably had better grades and probably should have gone, he's screwed. Nah, such is life. All right, let's see. What else we got here? Something about a woman at a shopping center holding a sign saying, I had no money, I felt so bad. Someone needed money, she's in a scarf, a little girl and baby. What do we have there? Well, a lot of comments on it. Oh, somebody's hidden here, I don't know why. Facebook comes in and hides your comments sometimes, guys. All right, what else we got here? Any questions? No questions, okay. I see we got someone from Italy here, my sister. How about this guy? How pissed is this guy's boss going to be? I think I can make it. I think I can do it. Boom. I'd hate to be that employee. All right, the torch run. This first person up front, Lori Dress, I graduated with her from high school. She's a lieutenant or a captain now with SPD. All right, what's this? Snowbirds going home. Does that have 3,700 on the reach right now? Yep, they're getting ready to go home. I guess they're going home early. I don't know how accurate that is, though, because I got to tell you, they go home when it starts getting warmer up north, and they're getting ready, I think, for the 4th or 5th nor'easter. I think the normal time they go home is Easter, which is, the end of this month? So I guess they're getting ready to go home. But sometimes they'll stay later, because I think last year they stayed later. But the whole gist of it is what it does to the economy. You know who's really complaining is areas like Venice. Venice, when the snowbirds go home, they're doing two things. They're shutting down the pier to rebuild it after the hurricane correctly. So Sharkies and Fins, they're not going to be fans of that. And then their Venice Avenue is getting ripped up, and they're repaving it all. They're doing some designs, and then that demolition. I don't know when that demolition is going to take place, but I've had a few business owners that aren't too happy about it that have written me. This is that iRide program that they're calling into question. They already covered that. What else we got here? That's the Dix. We already covered that. It's the library stuff. This guy, who sent it to me? Teresa? Was her name Teresa or Kate? can't remember her name, but this is a teacher. His parents live here in Venice. He was busted for inappropriate behavior with kids. He put in a request to move here because he had no money, and they said, get the fuck out of here, and the judge shot him down. So he's not moving here, but it's a pedophile central. I don't, people say, oh, Venice is full of pedophiles, Northport, Sarasota. I don't think that's the case. I think the case is that I share them a lot, and I bring a lot of attention to them, and so there's more awareness about it. Same with the drugs and arrests. You don't have a lot of areas like Sarasota County does, where you got somebody like me that disseminates information like this. So you see it a lot more, but I don't think we're any worse off than anybody else out there. I don't know if that makes sense. Arms, I just put that out. Oh, only one person liked it. I tell you what happened with the last bubble was that the interest rates went up. Everybody had arms, and they saw their home mortgage go from, $800 to $1,500, and they all dumped their houses. We're seeing that again, guys. It's going to happen. Medical marijuana, I shared this because this is an interesting article. I shared down to a certain point, and then you're going to have to click through to Daily Caller. Essentially, this lady, no, it was a guy. The article was written by a guy. He went through this omnibus bill, and he saw where something that concerns him, that they will be pulling, with medical marijuana. Right now, the federal government can't use funds to go after people that are involved in medical marijuana. I believe that's how it said it. And he's putting in some kind of action that will allow them to shut down medical marijuana at the federal level, because there's some issue in there stopping them. And so this guy was bringing attention to it. I just put it out there, so only 90 people reached. They probably don't know. What's amazing is how many times you get these fucking people out here that just comment on headlines. I put something out the other day. I don't remember what it was, but I remember seeing some of the comments in this group, because the group, I tend to get notifications. It drives me crazy, and I see a lot more of the comments. And they're like, they're commenting based upon the headline. You know that because if you click through the headline, it's completely different what they ended up doing. And I felt like coming on and saying, you know what? How many of these idiots aren't reading this actual article? Or I think it was actually a video, listening to the video. I go, just look at their comments, and they're all based upon a headline. I could probably sit here and say 60% of the freaking people that are on my page are headline readers. They don't listen to the videos. They don't read the articles. They don't do any of that stuff. Myself, I do tend to, on the national page, I tend to share more, and then I go back at night and I read the articles more. So, but I share with people that I know are like-minded with me. Hello, No Density Project. This is one I just shared. This person was acting like it was new, but it's not new. It's been out there for a while. I know the HOA is familiar with it. They're concerned with having all this extra traffic in the Pine Brook area with the extra density. Downside, I think Jeff Boone is the guy's attorney that's trying to get that pushed through. What do we got? This is the last one. We'll watch this video real quick. This freaking idiots out here. This is a gator dragging one. And a guy thought it was a good idea to lasso a gator and drag him. And unfortunately, you might think, oh, God, that's short. That's actually where it ends. I cut off the Snapchat part that comes up, but the FWC is looking for this guy now. Most people aren't going to be able to recognize him. Well, they might be able to. This was actually, look at that. What a fucking idiot. This was actually in Orlando. And so I shared it, hoping to get more publicity. Actually, a lot of the MSMs are out there sharing it too. Hoping to get some more publicity for it so that they can bring attention to it and hopefully get this idiot in trouble. Going over these real quick, some of the national ones, no questions out there. Let me refresh this in case there are some questions, because for some reason it doesn't always come up. Oh, there are questions. I hate how my phone does that. You talk about something, you get ads. Oh, yeah. So Brian's on there. See, that comment didn't show. It should have showed up there. There's my live broadcast. Check it out. All right, the medical marijuana. What else did we get here? Islam makes little contribution to the identity of Europe. This is a big thing there. You're starting to see a revolt because they brought in so many people from Syria and everywhere else. A lot of them saying they're just kids when they have full beards and they look like they're 50. There's you're starting to see more and more of the populace uprise against it, especially in countries like Italy, where in Sicily you're getting a ton of them. My sister's on here; she'll tell you that. I saw her on here, and she lives in Calabria, which is right next to Sicily. Now, where we're at in Calabria, there's not too many immigrants, but you could drive down to Crotone or Cosenza, and there's immigrants everywhere walking the streets. I don't think they would allow them in San Giovanni. By those, I think you know who I mean in Italy. But they're starting to realize, so they had their elections just the other day, and they went with a nationalist who wants to kick out 500,000 of the immigrants. He wants to get rid of the euro. He's tired of Europe dictating, Europe being Germany, and so you're starting to see a lot more of that resentment out of Europe coming. The real government waste. God, we could go on for hours with government waste. Cop arrested for raping a mentally ill man who was chained to the hospital bed. What I try to do is put out stories that you're not going to see in mainstream media. Too often, all these guys are in cahoots and they're putting out the same bullshit stories left and right. And I do share some of those bullshit stories, but there's a lot more. Like this one on this flocking to doomsdays, there actually are. I found out, and I'm trying to find the story, they're building a bunker underneath a high-rise in D.C. The government is. And the only reason it came out is because they kept hearing dynamite in the skyscraper. And the government had to come clean on what was actually going on there. March for Lives, now operating under dark money nonprofit. That happens all the time. You guys, a lot of these movements, Black Lives Matter, to these kids with the guns, they're financed by groups, be it liberal, be it to the right-leaning, whatever. Both sides do it. And they finance these groups, and they do it at a level where the average individual doesn't believe in. They think it's some kind of organic uprising, which it isn't in most cases. Execution by nitro gas. Here's that letter where Jeff Sessions came out. A memo, U.S. Attorney Sessions directs him to pursue the death penalty for certain drug-related crimes. And I put it on there. Yeah, see, I didn't think it was that far down there, so you can go check that out. What else we got here? You know what? The first thing I think of when I saw that is the Philippines, that president there, because that's one of the first things he did is go after the drug dealers and kill them. Man wins $390,000 in gender discrimination because a woman got the promotion he was more qualified for. Just thought that was interesting. That Austin bombing. I guess he blew himself up after a shootout. Because I think that was the fifth or sixth bomb that went off this morning, and they just they're putting out more and more information on him, which you'll see coming out. This Democrat saying that there's going to be widespread unrest if Trump fires Mueller. It's a lot of speculation. I don't think Trump's ever said he was going to fire Mueller, but MSM keeps pushing that narrative. Now, could he? Yeah. He legally could do it. I think the Schiff hit the fan. Schiff. Hate that bug guy. Fucking Schiff. The leaker in chief. He even said, look, he could fire Mueller if he wants. Now, politically, would it be the right thing to do? I don't know. I think a lot of people are saying, look, you're on a witch hunt right now, so, yeah, it would politically be the right thing to do. Who knows? Full investigation. Kurt's commenting on the story we just covered with the MPPD. What did this one say, Ash? This is the fifth dog bite, if I recall. Same officer, different dog. Then has to stop. I remember this case from back in October. Now the dash cam has been released, and ironically, you can't find the original MPPD Facebook posting. Well, you can, because I got it on my page. Come on, Ash. Ash has actually sent it to me. It's right on my page there. Israel admits bombing suspected Syrian nuclear reactor in 2007. I tell you what, that whole proxy war is going to blow up, guys. You got Iran in there. Iran and Russia basically supporting Syria. And you got Saudi Arabia basically fighting in this proxy war against Iran. And they're backed by the United States, Israel, and stuff. They're both fighting in Yemen. That's another proxy war between Saudi Arabia and Iran. You got this new hawk, Pompeo, that's come in, and he's not like Tillerson. He's more of a hardliner on Iran. I think there's too many war hawks in there. I don't know, like McCain, that industrial military complex has just padded his pocket too much with money, and they keep pushing this whole war narrative be with Russia and the build-up. I mean, we just gave the Ukraine a ton of weapons, and that pissed off Russia, moving the NATO troops closer to the line there. That's pissing them off. And, it's funny, the U.S. is so pissed about Russia getting involved in the election, but we got involved in Ukraine's election, essentially, not in the election, but in their political process, because the Russian-backed president decided against NATO. Next thing you know, there's an uprising of neo-Nazis. Most of those uprising that are in the government now were neo-Nazis. What's her name? The assistant ambassador, Newland. Newland was caught on the phone talking about the millions of dollars that the U.S. was funneling to that group. And they were talking about the form that they want the government to look like when they took over, which is the current government in there now. It's hypocritical. And it's amazing as people buy into the fact whatever the government puts out, or MSM on that. This guy, there's more, you're seeing this all the time. Immigrant pleads guilty to drugging, tying up, and molesting some elderly woman. What the hell? Florida man allegedly shouts, Allah Akbar! Shoots wife, knives children, sets house on fire. See, you don't see that in mainstream media, did you? Have any of you seen that in the mainstream media? Why not? That's a story. You don't see that stuff. Operator driverless Uber car was a felon. They actually ruled that it wasn't the Uber guy's fault in Arizona, the lady that was killed, but I guess the guy was a felon, the safety driver that was in there. Some political stuff you guys don't want to watch. How Obama and both Trump were involved in mining data. Cops shoot unarmed dad in the back, kill him holding a phone. They thought it was a gun. Again, that's a travesty that happened, and you would think there'd be more restraint. But put yourself in the cops' position that are getting shot constantly. Someone, Rosa, she just came back on. Okay, someone turns around, they got a cell phone. You don't know, it's dark. You don't know what the hell they're holding, and you shoot them. So I understand the travesty behind this, but I also understand that if I were an officer, I'd be wondering, you can't put yourself in those shoes until you've been there. Sweden unveils plans for total societal mobilization against Russia. Everybody's building this whole narrative of Russia and war, and it's scary. It's concerning. Maryland schools shooting bus. This guy. You're not hearing it, but isn't it amazing though? You heard a ton about that Miami school killing. Now there were a lot more killed there. You're barely hearing about these two kids here, but basically they were saved by concealed carry, a guy that had a concealed carry. I think he was an SRO or something there. And you're not hearing too much about that because it doesn't fit that narrative that's being pushed right now by the anti-gun side.